Camila Cabello opens up about her biggest insecurity.
And Taylor Swift is spotted out on a date.
And Kim Kardashian faces backlash again.
All that and more on today's Rundown. Guys, we are so very, very close to 4 million subscribers on Clevver News. So if you're here and you're watching, hit that subscribe button because it would mean the most to us. Also, it's our birthday, Clevver's birthday in a couple of weeks. So that's like the ultimate birthday present. Please, please.
I was pausing, just waiting for them to click subscribe.
Oh,
okay, we'll get to the story. First story we're gonna talk about has to do with Logan Paul. In a recent interview with The Hollywood Reporter that came out today, YouTube's chief business officer, Robert Kinkle, says he regrets the way they dealt with Logan Paul. When asked about Logan Paul and the backlash surrounding how YouTube responded, Kinkle said, quote, "His video was regrettable and our hearts went out to the family of the individual in it, but it did not violate policies that would ban him from the platform. We issued a strike in accordance with our process. We also put all of our original projects with Paul on hold. We took several steps to disincentivize that kind of behavior. The subsequent demonetization came because of repeated behavior. He's been cooperative in the process and making sure that his videos and his behavior support the whole creator ecosystem." He went on to say, quote, "We should have done better. We were fast in our PR response, but we were slow in our social response. I think that is what we got flagged for, and rightfully so." Honestly, I don't think anybody really cares anymore.
You don't?
I don't. Like, yes, it was a bad situation, but to the point where I don't need, when they're interviewing people from YouTube, I don't need them to continue to talk about the Logan Paul situation just because I feel like YouTube as a whole, they have other issues now that they need to be dealing with. So the Logan Paul thing happened and he's back. It is what it is.
Yeah, I know. I said this before though. I think that YouTube is in this really awkward position where, you know, there are so many people doing YouTube videos. Now, I know Logan was like one of their premium people and he's been knocked out of that category, but there are so many people doing so many like maybe questionable things on the internet. If they completely canceled Logan's channel, they'd have to do it to so many people. And I don't know if they have the bandwidth to legitimately go through every single channel and get rid of channels. It's just a big wormhole. You know, once they open that door, it's like they would have to spend a lot of time doing that for everyone and not just Logan Paul. So it's just not easy being YouTube in this situation, you know? Well, it has been a minute since we saw Taylor Swift and her new beau Joe out together. I actually was a little concerned because she'd been really working on her tour and I hadn't seen them together. I was like, I hope they're still together. But alas, they were spotted out just yesterday. So this all happened in Malibu. The couple was on a hike together. And this is, like I said, a very rare occurrence for these two. But I can't believe they've been dating for almost a year now, you guys. In these photos, Taylor stepped out in workout attire and while Joe opted for the classic dark jeans and Nikes that Tay refers to in her new song, Delicate. And while we're still unsure if that was a coincidence or not, the important thing is that the two stayed really close to one another and looked really happy to be spending quality time together. And like we mentioned, it's been a minute since we've seen them together. This is their first public appearance since they were spotted in New York City last December at Z100's Jingle Ball. So according to E! News, the couple hiked on a scenic route overlooking the ocean for around an hour and a half. And despite being exhausted from the hike, the source also said that Taylor, quote, looked very close to Joe, holding onto his arm and holding hands. They seemed very at ease with each other and relaxed. Although we have so many questions still about the couple, they've been very tight-lipped about their relationship. You can rest assured that they are thriving. The source also added they appeared very comfortable in one another's company and seemed to be enjoying their time together despite having bodyguards following in their every move.
I love that last part.
Who is the person that's giving this information? Do they have a drone? Are they following them around? Like, who is this third person standing off in the bushes being like, they are spotted holding hands. They look very happy. They're skipping together.
Lost my.
It's Friday.
Went down the wrong path. Whoever this source is, I'm happy though because, you know, and I've said this before, I like that a lot of celebrities, we're not seeing a lot of their relationships anymore just because, keep it private because there's so many relationships now with celebrities where they put everything out in the open, people get so invested in their lives and then all of a sudden it's like, this couple's breaking up, this couple's in divorce. Like, just keep it private, live your life. I like a nice little private hike in Malibu with the bodyguard following behind. But, I mean...
But as an entertainment reporter, you don't like to know all the relationship stuff?
Oh, I'll find out. But I'll find out and I'll report it to you. But I like that we have sources like this source who gives us as opposed to them like so openly doing it.
But this, I don't believe this source.
I believe it.
This person, it's like Taylor went back from her hike and told her publicist, hey, write this up. This is what happened. We looked lovingly into each other's eyes. Like, who
Okay, the source is a little bit dramatic.
I would rather see Taylor post on Instagram, is what I'm saying, versus having a source. Do you know what I mean?
I get you. It's another day. Yesterday we celebrated International Women's Day, and Kim Kardashian wanted to contribute to that as well. But you know Kim Kardashian, when she does anything, there's gonna be some type of backlash because she's Kim Kardashian. So she's once again facing criticism from the internet, and this time it's for her new batch of feminist emojis. These feminist emojis, which include phrases like nasty woman, my body, my choice, grab America back, and full-time feminist, didn't sit too well with some people, and while the new emojis were definitely well received by her loving fans, a few others had a thing or two to say about this emoji pack. One user criticized the fact that these emojis were available for purchase instead of being given away for free. She wrote, quote, I saw that Kim had feminist emojis and I thought that's cool. She's giving feminist emojis for free. Then I realized she expected people to buy them. If she truly wanted to make a difference, wouldn't they be free? You have enough money. Another wrote, quote, Kim Kardashian only identifying as a feminist when she can literally profit from it. While this user suggested Kim donate her earrings from the feminist pack by saying Kim should donate the money she makes from her feminist emoji pack to a charity that supports women's rights rather than pocket it. Didn't she want to get involved in helping Planned Parenthood? Now it's her chance, just saying. Other Kim critics also called out her full-time feminist emoji and pointed out that Kim revealed in a past blog post that she decided not to identify or adopt the feminist label, even though she'll always fight for women's rights, and it's all about empowering and uplifting women. They tweeted, quote, I love Kim, but a few years ago she decided not to identify as a feminist because she was scared of the backlash she would receive, and now she has a feminist emoji pack, so I'm curious as to what changed. I feel like they're being a little harsh, Aaron.
I do too. I feel like you could look at anyone's life and anyone's decision, whether it's Kim Kardashian or anyone or the Pope, and be like, well, he should be donating his garb, or he should not be eating that lunch. He should be giving it to a hungry person, and he should not be doing, like, you can look at anyone's life and analyze it based on what you think they should be doing. Yeah. Meanwhile, not actually knowing what people do in their private time. Like, who knows what charities Kim Kardashian gives to on a regular basis. Maybe she doesn't tell them about all of them. So I feel like we're very removed from that situation. And I don't think it was offensive. If she doesn't want to call herself a feminist because of the backlash, I think it's a cool move that she is offering up a feminist option to people who do.
Well, exactly.
Who do identify as feminist. So she's showing that she's not against feminists. She just doesn't want to call herself that. And this whole charging thing, I'm not surprised. That's what they do, these Kardashians and Jenner, they charge.
With that specific thing, I will say, if you already had the app, you know, they're there. It's just saying, like, she's not gonna create a whole app just for this feminist pack, you know what I mean? Because if you have the app is $3.99, I think. If you have the app already, you can just obviously get the emojis, but why would she create a separate one just to release these feminists? It's just,
I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, I understand where people are coming from, but at the same time, like you said, you don't know what she does in her private time. You don't know if she is gonna do anything with the proceeds that she made from people getting the app for the feminists. People are just being way too harsh. She didn't have to do anything at all. And I'm not saying that as you should be so happy that Kim Kardashian, but I'm just saying she didn't have to do anything. And on International Women's Day, why are you tearing down another woman? Like, she's raising awareness. She has one of the biggest platforms in the world.
So true.
Granted, even though International Women's Day, everybody was talking about it yesterday.
But still, they may not have.
Yeah.
So at least she did jump on this train to be like, I'm gonna promote this. Good points, Emil. Well, people we don't usually talk about on this show, but I'm actually really happy we're talking about this particular story because it's really important. So Lily Reinhart and Camila Mendez, they were on the cover of Cosmo for the Philippines, and they are speaking out about the crazy Photoshop that the magazine did to their bodies. The two Riverdale actresses are both featured in the March issue of Cosmopolitan Philippines, which should be a huge accomplishment, but rather than simply repurposing the pictures that were originally taken for the February issue of the US magazine, the overseas version noticeably cut off several inches from their waists. When Lily noticed what happened, she took to Instagram to send a powerful message about self-love and body positivity, writing, Camila and I have worked incredibly hard to feel confident and comfortable in the bodies that we have. It's an everyday battle sometimes, and to see our bodies become so distorted in an editing process is a perfect example of the obstacles we have to overcome. So we cannot stop fighting. Our battle has only just begun. We are powerful, beautiful, and strong. We aren't going to hide behind Photoshop to confirm beauty standards. Camila, who's been open about battling an eating disorder in the past, has also penned a note on Instagram explaining how the two felt disrespected and disturbed by the altered photo. She said, we prefer to see our bodies the way they actually are. I'm not invested in having a slimmer waist. I'm more satisfied with the one that I already have. When I first heard this story, someone told me about it. And I was like, it's probably not that bad. Like, if someone wants to Photoshop my photo sometimes, I'm like, yeah, like smooth out a zit, or like if there's a flyaway, hook me up. So in my head, I was like, I wonder if it's really that bad. I looked at the photos and I was like, oh my gosh, they gave these women 2 completely unnatural bodies, even by just bringing their waist in to look like they were an literal hourglass.
Yeah.
It broke my heart, and I'm glad they both spoke out about it. And the other thing that's so weird is their bodies looked so good in the unaltered versions. I was like, I would want to have that body over the Photoshop body any day.
I completely agree with everything you said, and I'm just so happy that they spoke out about this and that so many celebrities speak out, but specifically them, because their core demo is such a young, impressionable audience. And I remember during my preteen years and even teenage years, actually even in college, I had so many body issues.
Same.
And when you see some of your favorite celebrities, you're looking at them not as idols, but oh, I really admire them, I want to look like them. And if you have an unattainable body image that this magazine is perpetuating, that this magazine is like putting out there though, I love that they're speaking out and saying, hey, that's not even what, I can't achieve that. Like, so don't look at that saying, oh, how do I get like that when you can't?
There's
you know?
impossible. Clearly, no human could look like that. They had to put it in Photoshop. So, I'm glad these girls spoke out.
Good job. And on to another Camila Cabello, who's also speaking out about insecurities.
Yeah.
So she's talking about like what she dealt with as a child, but then she talks about one of her current insecurities that she still deals with. She's just so adorable, you'll see. So she was recently interviewed for the new issue of Glamour and explained her biggest insecurity and why she didn't even think being a pop star was an option. She told the Mac, quote, I didn't even think that music was a plausible career for me because I was living in Miami with immigrant parents who just wanted me to focus on school. Everybody I went to auditions with was born in LA or New York with means. There was nobody I could look up to. I didn't see myself represented in pop culture. She goes on to talk about the lack of Latina she saw in pop culture growing up and how that made her insecure at the time. She explained, quote, there was a period when I really wanted light eyes. It was only as I got older that I was like, I like my brown eyes, I like my black hair, I like my skin, I don't need to be blonde and blue-eyed. Even though Camila embraces her dark hair and brown eyes and has always been proud of her heritage and culture, there is still one insecurity that she hasn't gotten over. Camila revealed that she doesn't feel very confident about her teeth, saying, quote, there are still things I'm insecure about like my crooked teeth, but I think part of beauty is accepting imperfections. The more I meet people and see the world, the more I realize it's those little quirks, a birthmark, a crooked tooth, a scar that makes you, you. I love her.
I feel like that's true though, right? Isn't
It's so
she
true.
so wise for someone who's so young and kind of, I guess she's been in the business for a while, but she's kind of budding out into her own solo path. But it is so wise for someone just kind of starting out on her own to be that confident in her flaws. I agree.
Do you want to know what my biggest insecurity is
What?
that I've always had to work on? I have this little freckle in my eye, it's a birthmark.
Oh, I love that
But
though.
people coming on, they're like, what's in your eye? I'm like, it's from birth.
I think it's a cool conversation
Yeah.
starter though, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's cool to just talk about things like that with people and just get a conversation going. I mean, I have so many flaws. I mean, we could have a whole other episode on Erin's flaws.
Coming soon.
But I've battled an eating disorder in college, same thing as I think one of the girls from the Riverdale spread. And I just, I think that as you get older, you start to really appreciate your nuances. And I think this is a message, speaking of young audiences, that Camila needs to be sending to her young following who look up to her so much.
All right, guys, that is a wrap for DHR. And, it means it's time for the weekend.
Are you trying to think of a question to ask?
Did you see me struggling there? Guys, let us know what you think about Kim Kardashian, this whole Kemojis feminist pack thing. What's your take on that?
Yeah, also the Riverdale girls and the Cosmopolitan cover. What did you think? Do you think they were photoshopped and it was just way too far? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, you guys. Please, please, please. If you made it this far, you should subscribe.
Just might as well click.
Just click it. Have a good weekend, you guys.
Bye. But before you go, click left to see why Justin and Selena split up.
Or click right to see what Demi Lovato says about sliding into DMs.
Ooh.